A very good afternoon to our cherished listeners once again. It is exciting indeed to come your way in this new year and in this new month with your favorite business development program on radio, Masterclass. Let me take this opportunity to wish all of us a very happy new year indeed. We're excited to come your way with Masterclass. This year we'll be spending a bit more time with you, our cherished listeners, trying to put together programs that will address your concerns, programs that will help your businesses to grow. Like we always say here, Masterclass is put together to help your businesses grow, to help you have those informal seminars, those informal workshops, those informal information sessions that will help your business grow. You don't need to go and pay anybody to go and sit in any class or do anything like that. Joy FM brings that straight to you through your favorite program, Masterclass. It's the 8th of January. It's the 8th of January today, 2020. I'm getting used to mentioning 2020. And indeed, the second Wednesday also in this year. In many churches, in many people's New Year's resolutions, there are many themes that they have. And they say, this is the year of shining. In my church, we say, this is the year of shining. It's a year of rising. In your business, what have you put together? People call it New Year's resolution. Some others say that, I'm tired of this New Year's resolution thing. Whether you call it a resolution or a plan, whatever it is, you have something that you're looking out for. My manager just walked in and said, what's your outlook for 2020? You call it outlook, you call it plan, you call it strategy, whatever you call it. You have something you're putting together to look for 2020. What are you looking for your business? What's your plan? You're going to make more money. You're going to be able to position yourself well. You're going to sell more. You're going to be able to make more profit. How do you make profit anyway? We're going to be going into that today. We're going to be spending some time in the studio discussing all of these things, and then we'll be able to make your business better. Definitely, Masterclass is brought to you by, inspired by Joy Business and brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, they say good energy, Goyle Yanara Yendia. It runs every Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. and goes all the way through to 2 p.m. here on your superstation, Joy 99.7. My name, as always, is Yaw Anim Branafo, and I am your host for the show. So today is the first edition of Masterclass in this year. And like I said, we're going to be spending some time talking about how to put your business in that place, how to prepare your business for a successful year. And we put it very simply, and we said repositioning your business for a profitable year. Repositioning your business for a profitable year. So long as you are not a charity, you are not out there collecting other people's money to make other people's lives better, then definitely you've put your business together to be able to make some money, to be able to make something for yourself. You call that profit. There are two ways of making profit. You either increase your revenue or you decrease your cost, or you do both. So what are you planning to do this year? Yes, I know you are planning to increase your revenue, but what you must also plan to do is to decrease your cost. What are your cost lines? For every 1 cedi that you make in your business, how much are you spending? There's something that bankers call, or finance people like to call, cost to income ratio. It's not confusing. It just means that for every 1 cedi you make, how much does it cost you to make that 1 cedi? If for every 1 cedi you make, you are spending 50 pesos, it means that your cost to income ratio is 50%. For some people, I dare say, our cost to income ratio is minus 100%. It shouldn't be like that. Today we're going to be sharing some thoughts here in the studio with a very wonderful person. I'll be introducing him shortly. And he's going to be talking to us about repositioning your business for a profitable year. Repositioning your business for a profitable year. So my guest in the studio today is a Ghanaian, and he's also the founder and knowledge management analyst of Orientation Africa. Orientation Africa is a social enterprise, and it aspires and helps African youth to develop and make themselves sustainable and also make impact in their respective fields of endeavor. My resource person is a professional digital media practitioner. He's also a startup ecosystem developer. He's a design thinker, and he's a UN SDG ambassador for Central Land West Africa. We're going to be learning all about that. A very, very, very impressive resume indeed. He's done so many things. He's also an author of over 7 books, an inventor of a board game called Orbis, and he's a curator with TEDx Spintex Women Brainstorming Party. He's going to be spending some time today with us talking to us about how to reposition your business for a profitable year. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest in the studio this afternoon is none other than Mr. Daniel Owusu. Daniel, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Wow, it's exciting to have you. I mean, I read your resume and I thought it's impressive today. You know, a lot of young people today are applying themselves to so many things, and hopefully we're going to make our world a better place.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do.
Because with all these things that we're learning, with all these things, I mean, you have done wonderful things. One thing I didn't mention about your resume is that you've impacted over 90,000 youth across Africa and some parts of Europe. Briefly, how have you done that? You know, you hear people say, I've impacted 2,000 people, 5,000 people. How have you impacted 90,000 people? Just 10 seconds.
So basically, with the work I do with schools, I do with associations, I do with meetups and conferences. So when I go to a school, a typical Ghanaian school, combining all the final years is like 1,500.
Wow.
And we've been doing this since 2008. So it's not just yesterday that we started. So it's been like since 2008 to date. That's what we've been doing.
Right. So all of these conferences, all of these seminars, it's the numbers of people who attend, and it impacts them, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that financiers will do is that they measure return on equity.
Yeah.
How do you, as a social engineer, measure impact?
So I measure impact one on. So in the meetings, there are people who will listen, there are people who hear. So those who listen are those who give the outcomes, of which I have with quite a few people that have transcended based on our meetups to now doing well in their respective fields.
Wow.
And that is the underpinning drive, or that's my personal mission statement, to transform life and inspire change. So
Wow.
so in whichever angle that I meet you up, and what we discuss, and also having a bit of a needs assessment to know, okay, A or B is the issue. How then do we address it? If you're able to do this, that, you're able to scale to this. So so it's one thing to be interested in what I said. It's another thing to be willing to work with what I said.
Right.
So if you go to what I said and you're willing to do, the results will show.
So you don't just share the knowledge, but you actually do follow up to see whether it's actually made impact.
Yeah.
I think only a few people do that.
Yeah.
I think that's commendable. But before we go into the text of today, we'd like to find out a bit. You know, sometimes I just like to do this for just a few seconds because people connect at different levels. You know, someone is listening to us this afternoon, they're wondering, who's that guy? Oh, I don't like his voice. It's too deep. He must be a proud guy. Daniel, you're a Ghanaian.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this is a Ghanaian thing. We're talking about made in Ghana. We're talking about building Ghanaian entrepreneurs, Ghanaian companies. What school did you go to? I don't want the university. I want the secondary school. Somehow in Ghana, secondary schools are more popular than. And I think the old school union thing is coming up here at Joy FM. So,
So with me, in terms of my schooling, it's been ups and downs.
okay,
So I've been to multiple schools.
okay.
So
Which one do you align yourself with? Which old school?
I love both Peters and Nkwasco.
Peters and Nkwasco. Okay. So all the Peters boys and Nkwasco. Is Nkwasco a mixed school?
Mixed school.
Okay, so all the Nkwasco old
Boys.
boys and girls,
Yeah.
your boys in the studio, right? For Peters, what's your? I think you won the Brilliant Science and Masquerades recently, right?
Yeah, last
Your
2 years.
your tagline is what?
Dignitati, I forget.
Some long Latin
Yeah,
something.
Dignitati
Okay, so your boys in the studio. Football. Let's talk football. What teams do you support? My team lost last night, so I hope you don't support my
It's
team.
the same. Try Manchester.
Okay, Daniel Dazi, good afternoon to you. Let's talk about something else. Let's not talk about football. What kind of music do you like?
I like all genres, but more Afro.
Afro.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Afro
Stoneboy.
Stoneboy, and all
Okay.
that.
So should I play something from Stoneboy?
I'll be grateful.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to play you something from Stoneboy. Time check in the studio, 25 minutes past the hour of 1. Here is Masterclass right here on the Superstation. We're spending time in the studio with Daniel Owusu, and we're talking about repositioning your business for a profitable year. We'll take a quick musical break. When we come back, we continue with our discussion. song indeed. If you are going to survive in this year 2020, you definitely have to be a tough seed. You definitely have to be a tough seed. And I have one such tough seed in the studio with me. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass on your Superstation. And we're talking about repositioning your business for a profitable year. Repositioning your business for a profitable year. Maybe you've been doing things in a particular way. It's been working. How can you make it better? Maybe you've been doing things in a certain way. It hasn't worked so much. You know, when you're doing your reviews for last year, these are questions you will ask yourself. What worked? What didn't work? What can I do differently? What can I do better? And so we're going to be having that discussion here today in the studio with Daniel Owusu, definitely a tough seed. I've just read his resume. Wonderful young man doing great things, a UN SDG ambassador, and has impacted over 90,000 youth through social engineering programs. Daniel, we're going to be going straight into the discussion today. How does one reposition their business for a profitable year? Why should they even think about doing that? And what are some of the benefits that can come to them if they think of repositioning themselves? Obviously, it's better. It's going to be better and it's going to be bigger.
Of course.
But you have the text. You are the expert in this field. How do we reposition ourselves for a more profitable year?
Okay, so thank you very much to your listeners, shares, listeners. So, reposition. But before we say reposition, we should also get to understand certain terms and its definitions. So, we say what positioning within the context of our business is basically trying to create a unique perception in the mind of the customer. You understand? Because at the end of the day, the customer is the end point. At the end of the day, the customer that will give you that money or make that input for you to scale up the business. So, but most of the times, a lot of businesses do not have the customers in mind. So we have a 3P: people, planet, and the price. So a lot of businesses are more focused on the price, forgetting the people. And when it comes to the planet, becomes the climate or the environment as we speak to. Then also, when we say repositioning, we are basically saying adjusting the perception of your brand in the eyes or in the mind of your customers. Against that background, also, repositioning your business is much broader. So I'm picking a bit from the marketing side, then we'll pick a bit from the strategy also side. So when it comes to marketing, by definition, we know that it's the science of exploring, creating, and delivering value to satisfy the need of a target market for or at a price. So you be in business A, me be business B, but looking at the definition, there's a key word that we can all find. It means that there's a competitor in what I do. So now, in my definition, I'll say that it's the science of exploring, creating, and delivering value different from the competitor to satisfy the need of that target audience and make that profit. Then there's also the difference between market and marketplace. So market is the demand for your product or for your brand. Then the marketplace is the arena or the location at which we can find your brand or produce. So again, this background also, we get to understand what a brand is. Maybe our listener might not understand what the brand is. So it's that unique identity of the business, being the logo, the color, the font types, and all of you that distinguish, let's say, Coke or let's say MTN from Vodafone. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's what we're trying to say. So then, also, when it gets to repositioning, people also do confuse repositioning with rebranding. You get what I'm trying to say? So repositioning is basically readjusting how people associate or your customer associates themselves with your brand, as against rebranding being more like a cosmetic over makeup, changing the logo, changing the color, changing the slogan, and what have you. You know what I'm trying to say? So all this comes to play when it comes to rebranding. But then if we have to just go through a bit to know why certain brands did rebranding instead of repositioning and it affecting its brand. So if you pick a brand like Pepsi, So Pepsi, between almost like a 10-year period, they were just evolving their logo. You know what I mean? So, and you know how, in spite of all the distractions on the market and infiltrations, or how do I put this? The corporate attitude of most businesses, customers are always erratic and they change, but they only stick to the things they know and the things they can associate themselves with. So brands were just evolving in terms of rebranding, but not repositioning. That affected them. So I thought they were this. So they would say that, oh, it's the same content. We've repackaged the cover. Not, and if you do that repackaging without doing an intensive communication to the brand, you lose traction. It affects your returns or affect your sales. In view also when it comes to the numbers game. So now we are going to learn how we're going to reposition our brand for the growth. So effective brand position is about answering these two questions. How do you differentiate your brand in a way that matters to the target audience? Then, how do you highlight what's great about your brand authentically rather than the promotional case studies? So let me break that part down. So you see, there's always the actual and the perceived. So how you spend much money to do the marketing of that brand or that product, as against the reality on the ground of that product. So a typical example with our food joints. If you see the menus and you see those with glossy kind of food and all that, and the prices attached to it, you say, oh, it will look nice, so I want this. So you ask the waiter, please, can I get the same as this? They say, oh yes, you can. In that context, you've paid for the promotional aspect of what you saw. But when they bring the actual, it doesn't correlate. There and the client feels undervalued, unappreciated, undeserved. It affects your market share. Then that's where the issue of, oh, are you going to this brand to eat or to do that? Oh, don't try it. So that just one experience truncates the foot falls to your entity. So understanding that it's not just about the pricing or the money, the people of which you revolve your business around matters. Because if you recall the definition of marketing, there's a key word in saying delivering value. That is the customer service aspect. You know what I'm trying to say? So we should be able to have view of that. So these are some of the questions that you can rethink to reclaim your brand into the market, because some brands will come the first 6 months, 1 year, they are all over the place. The second year, they start folding up, or third or fifth year, they start folding up. And some also do not, within our cultures, it's more like, oh, if space to space is moving, let me jump on it, without having the blueprint to the space to space business model. So there are a lot of businesses making volumes but not having profits. You know what I'm saying? So these are elements that we should also think through. So the first thing you should ask yourself as a business leader or as a CEO or CEO is figure out what issue your product or service was created for. So this is a context where we intertwine with what we call design thinking. A lot of people forget the human touch of why they created or they are creating that solution. And a lot of business also assume for the consumer as against what the consumer wants. So the need and want issue becomes affects the business outcome. Then also identify the customer best served. You can't say that as for my product, it serves everyone. You should have a demographic you are focusing on, being your primary target and your secondary target. But if what you have said you are pushing out there is more to the secondary target, then you need to read through to know why the primary is not buying it. Because you assume that, oh, because this is the need, if I bring that, this A, B, or people will buy. But it doesn't translate into the numbers you'll be looking for at the end of the month or the year. And also understand how your target market thinks about that issue you are trying to solve as against what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? So those are the key things you should also think about. Then also be clear about how your product will solve your target market's need. Be clear, be specific, because those general wonders and non-meaningful specifics affects the outcomes of the product. So you can have a nice packaging, have a nice location to place them, but when people are not buying, they've seen it, but they are not buying. And also, within the space, try to define your category. The days that Red Bull came, it came to define a category of energy drink. So wherever you go, the first thing, if you hear energy drink, what comes to mind is Red Bull. So if they mention the name of your brand, what should come to mind? If you're unable to associate it or be the first or second in the mind of the consumer, you've lost the race. Because within the consumer, as you are repositioning, you should be able to adjust the perception of your brand in the minds of the customer, where you should be the first or the second name that comes to play. That, oh, I need this. Oh, okay, if I don't go to this, let me use radio station. Where do you want to get the best morning show? Joy FM. Then, oh, maybe because you missed out the time to listen to the morning show. Then you find an alternative station that will play, being an immediate competitor. But if these two pass by and they say, oh, nah, you've lost the race. And also, if you lost the market share and the mind share of the customer come into play. Then the fifth point is find authentic ways to tell your stories about solving that issue. The people who conceptualize the idea or the vision of the entity are not the same people who implement the idea on the ground. So insurance becomes a case study. What the sales guys go to say as against what the ESCO guys have in mind is not the same. So if you're able to differentiate that and speak the same language, it will also have an influence in your numbers. As against like, oh, our product can do A, B, C, D. Because when it comes to the sales, they have monthly targets to meet. So whatever they will say to make that numbers, they will say it. When it now gets the issue that I paid for this, I'm not getting that. The beneath of the issue say that it's either the person may sell or may sold to you or whichever it is. Then the brand now gets the issue. Then it starts dipping. Then you lose the market share. So you're able to reposition ourselves in that context. So we go back to, as I said, creating value is all about product management. Communicating value is what we call branding. Then delivering the value is what we call the customer management. That comes to play. In all this, and as the year unfolds, as a business, know where you are heading to. Because if you know where you are going, you know the what to do next to achieve what. Because any goal set without a timeline is a discussion. And you can have all the strategy, but if you don't have the tactics, being the action, and who is assigned to that, you have it sitting on the boards or in the books or in the emails without translating into the output you are expecting. And we can't use the same level of thinking and the same attitude towards work to achieve the ultimate intent of what we are looking for. So all this comes to play for it. And also, know your brand inside out. The people behind it also, the people going out to sell it. Get them involved to also understand the what you are doing. Know your audience. Because you see how Ghanaians are. When something new comes, we all jump on it. First month, second month, third month, sixth month, then we start dipping. How do you sustain your audience? How do you sustain your target audience or target market?
Right. Okay, so we'll hold the conversation here. Definitely, I know there are a few more points. We'll come back to sharing them. We want to take everything from you today, but it's wonderful. One of the things that has stuck with me is timelines. You know, you're talking about know your brand, be able to deliver it through the right channels and all that. But timelines, I was in a strategy session yesterday, and throughout the process, the consultants kept saying, when are you going to do this? It was not so much of what are you going to do, because by the time you were in that meeting, we all knew what it was that you were going to do. When are you going to do it? Timelines, timelines, timelines. If you are setting a strategy for yourself, for your business, put timelines to it. Hold yourself accountable to those timelines. Otherwise, they will be on the books line. Like Daniel is saying, it will just be another discussion. Time check in the studio, 44 minutes past the hour of 1. We'll be opening the phone line shortly. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our discussion. Stay tuned.
The masterclass is in session, and you can interact with us via Facebook at Joy Business or at Joy 99.7 FM. And if you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM. Don't forget to hashtag masterclass. You can also send us a text on 1422 across all networks, or join the WhatsApp conversation on 0244 340437, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass on your Superstation. The phone lines are now open. Numbers to call 0302-216-541. That's 0302-216-541. If you want to send us a comment, you can also do that on 0244-340-437. We're spending time in the studio with Daniel Owusu, and we're discussing repositioning your business. Repositioning your business for a profitable year. What do you call your plan? Strategy, plan, outlook, New Year's resolution, whatever you're calling it, you're putting together some kind of plan for your business. And we're saying here on the show, what are the pointers to look out for? Number one, we're saying that when you make those plans, put timelines to it. When you make those plans, put timeline to it. Daniel, you mentioned something about strategy and implementation. And it's so true. There's a big difference between policy and implementation.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the people who make the policies are not the ones who implement it.
Yeah.
So, for example, people make policy and they say, you must do X, Y, Z. But they have not considered the practicality and the exigencies of doing that X, Y, Z. So if you do it this way and it doesn't work, what do you do? They don't consider that. Then you hand it over to an implementer. And then he gets there and he has a problem. Then there's a disconnect. What is our advice to our business owners today? Should they involve at some point some of the implementers in the policy discussion?
Yeah, it's very key. And also, secondly, also the one you are assigning the task to is the person in that field or an expert in that area. Most of the times we give to people because the person is reliable, not because the person is competent. So timelines also get affected. So if we want to scale up, if we want to achieve the set goals, we want to achieve all those nice policies or business models, we should align to people who understand it, who are experts in it, who can run with that idea, as against you are the available person that occupy that space. Then I'm counting on you for it.
So your team needs to have the buy-in. Essentially, that's what you're saying. Yeah. It's not just something you sit in the boardroom and you do and you go and throw it at them. At some point, they need to be part of that process. Whether it's in the implementation or whatever, they need to be part of it so they can own it, understand it, and run with it.
Yeah, because there are some business leaders who are command and control.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
So it's like, do this case, and who does it, I don't care, but get the output. So that's the first square you find. Square person run holes. Charlie, boss, give me something to do. You know, they my lines about it for them. So now it's now going to sort for.
Figure out how to do it.
Then time is going.
I have another question for you. Before I ask that, do I have some good news for our listeners? If you own any motor vehicle of any kind, here's some good news for you. Goil's new Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 loops are the best engine oils for your vehicle. They are specially engineered engine oils which efficiently work on all your modern petrol and diesel engines. They clean, they protect, they reduce fuel consumption, and they prolong oil change intervals, as well as enhance your engine performance right from when you start up till when you switch off. So go to any Goil filling station today and grab the new Goil Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 engine oils for superior vehicle performance. Goil, they say good energy. Goil, Yenara Yedia. By all means, go to Goil today and get yourself some product from Goil. Numbers to call 0302-216-541, or you can send us a comment on 0244-340-437. We're talking about preparing for a profitable year. You are a business owner. I know you are still on leave. You are on break. You are going to come back middle of the month. But you are still planning. How do I get more money this year? How do I raise salaries this year? Because taxes are going to go up. Everything is going to go up. You need to make more money. What are the plans you are making? Pick up that phone, give us a call. Let's share some ideas. I always say life is too short to make all the mistakes yourself. What is it that you are doing for your business? Pick up that phone, give us a call, share your thoughts. Let someone else learn from what you are doing so that together as a country we can become better for it. Numbers to call again are 0302-216-541. Otherwise, you can send us a comment or a question on 0244-340-437. Quick question. You were talking about being in the mind of your customers so that if somebody wakes up and says, I want to wash, so I need a good soap, what comes to mind? You know, back in the day, in the 90s, when, DSTV was not so all over the place, Netflix was not, you had to watch Sunday afternoon. They had this, what do you call it? What do you call it? I think it was, I forgot the name of the program, but there were these things, the contestants would come through, people would come and dance and all of that. And there was concert party, right? Now, when you thought of soap back in the day, soap, washing soap, what came to your mind? That's washing powder.
Yeah, washing
When
powder.
you thought of bar soap, what came to your mind?
Key soap.
When you thought of tea back in the day, what came to your
Lipton.
mind? Lipton. You see, and that's the point you're making. It is referred to by the professionals as top of mind awareness.
Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning and I want to do something, and Google does that these days.
Yeah.
If you're pushing enough content onto Google, when we go onto Google and we click your product, your name will be among the top 10 people.
Yeah.
If you're not pushing enough content, it won't be there. So how do you come into people's minds in this year? What one thing can you do differently? Just one thing. I know you've talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
What one thing today, somebody's listening, they just tuned in. What one thing can they do in order to create top of mind awareness for their product, for their brand?
Be digitally inclusive.
Super. So it means that today the world is all over the place. The world is in your palm.
Yeah.
People have phones and they can do wonderful things with phones. People can sit in China and turn off the lights in your house.
Yeah.
They can watch you. You know that Samsung television.
They're smart.
I don't even want But essentially, the world is at our feet today.
Yeah.
Somebody sits here and knows your product. Year of return. People came into Ghana. How do you think that they made their bookings?
Online.
They went online to check. I was surprised when I went to Google the top 10 fufu eating places in Accra. And it was there.
Yeah.
Because somebody has managed to put that content. So we're saying that if you have a business, in order to create top of mind awareness, push your content onto social media, onto digital platforms, and that's going to help. Hard decisions. Let's talk about hard decisions. I read a story just yesterday that one of the multinationals, Philips, at some point, their figures began to go down. They were competing in a very terrible environment. The figures were going down. And they were not doing anything about it until a point where they had to call a crunch meeting. So they called over 200 managers to sit somewhere in Holland to have a meeting and say, what's happening to our company? The CEO had been fired at the time. Now they came back and said, okay, I think I have a caller on the line. Let's take that call. When we come back, we continue. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name, where you're calling from?
Yeah, good afternoon. Sorry, I lost my voice, but let me manage.
Don't worry, we have all lost our voice. It's January. It's summer time. Happy New Year to you, my brother.
Any happy return. This is Muslimu from Domavi.
Sorry, your name is... Oh, Musumuru, how are you, my brother?
I'm fine,
Good.
Happy New Year once again.
Talk to me, my brother.
Okay. So, God bless the man in your studio.
Right.
So, what I'm saying is that, talking about time, you see people open business or establish business today, the next hour, they want to make profit. But you see, sometimes you don't need the profit now. You need to at least just break even. Okay? You see, there are a lot of food joints that they open today, the next 1 month, the next 2 months, before you go there, it's closed down. Because they want to make profit. The food is more, it's not that when you open business, you need to, like he was saying, the information has to get to the people. And for them to test the thing, to make sure that they like it. Before, when you go to town, there are a lot of buildings people are built to rent. They want to make profit within 1 year or 2 years. Therefore, their price is high, and so people cannot rent. And the people are, the buildings are just sitting down there. So God bless the man so much. He's educating us. People are enjoying the program.
Thank you so much, Omusumuru. Thank you so much. So that's one of our favorite callers on the show. And he's corroborating your point that indeed, give it time to grow.
Yeah.
Give it time to grow. Let me ask you about hard questions. I was telling you about the story of Philips. Long story short, they had to cut 200 people. And at the time when they were cutting the jobs, they said worldwide, it's not possible. We can't do the job without the people. You can't let them go. This person has been in this company for too long. They did it. They pruned it like a tree. They took away some of the branches and it started growing again. They survived. The two companies that survived in that industry was Siemens and Philips at the time. Let's talk about today. Somebody is preparing for this year. As part of repositioning yourself, they have done the branding, they've looked at the channels, they've looked at the numbers, but they find that they've bitten a bit more than they could chew. So they have to resize their operation. They've got 4 delivery vans. They're running all of them at the same time. But there are only 3 or 4 orders per van. They have to reposition, put it together. What are some of the hard decisions that people and entrepreneurs should consider as part of this conversation?
Okay, so one, coming back to, so that the key word here is delivery vans, right?
Right. I mean, as an example.
As an example. So here, the business has different products, or let's say the food has different types of foods. It can be spag or fried rice or mashed potato. But the demands are on mashed potato as against the fried rice. Why don't you then focus on the mashed potato, make it more nicer, and also you do a needs analysis to know, a customer analysis to know which areas is the demands coming from. Right. Is it coming from Medina or is it coming from East Legon? So if you have that, that means that you can now position 2 vans for Medina, or that's where the market
can rezone.
Just rezone, because you can't put 1 van at Tema where a whole week you get only 1 order. But you have staff you have to pay.
And you have a driver.
You have a driver
in the car waiting for an order.
You understand?
With the ignition on and the air conditioning also on.
Because master no day.
That must call 0302 216 541. I have time for just one more call. You can squeeze that through 0302 216 541 or send us a comment on 0244 340437. This is the first edition of Masterclass in this year 2020. We're talking about repositioning your business. Repositioning your business for a profitable year. You spoke about rebranding and reposition.
Yeah.
Now, I'm tempted to think that rebranding may be a subset of repositioning, because the conversation about repositioning is saying that, listen, literally, I'm in position A, which means that I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got result X. I want to get result X plus 1. It means I must shift to position X plus Y. Okay? Is it always the case that rebranding must be part of a repositioning process?
It depends on the level. It depends on the level you are in. So let me give a typical example. If you pick Apple, when they came in first, after the days of the mainframe era, so Apple's corporate position was about consumer-friendly computers.
Right.
And also they were specific. Then they saw that the market is changing, so they need to adjust. Then they now reposition their corporate senses to say that it's no more consumer-friendly, but a high-tech product.
Okay.
You get it?
Okay.
So it's the same stuff, but the wedding. Then the other auxiliary devices supporting it.
Affecting perception in the process.
Of course.
Because I've always maintained that perception can become reality for the one who perceives. If I think that your product is confusing, it's confusing. It doesn't matter what you say. Because, like we say, the customer is king. While you react to that, give us our takeout for today. So react to what I just said. Perception can become reality for the one who perceives. So that whatever the customer thinks is what it is. In reacting to that, give us a takeout for today, and we round up our show.
So just a summary, just something for us to think about.
Yes.
Just ask any iPhone or Apple product lover.
They will fight you.
Why?
They're like Manchester and Chelsea.
No matter what you do,
Messi and Ronaldo.
no matter what you do, whether it is costly or not, the underpinning thing is a high-tech product.
Yeah.
So they're going for. So the perception is created and it's sealed.
Yeah.
You can't change. Even if an iPhone owner loses his phone, he will never go for an Android.
That's true.
You understand? So the perception is clear. So I'm just leaving with this 7 roadmaps for you to go to. So 1, your vision. State your vision clearly.
Okay.
The step 2, your values. State your values and align it with your team. That also involves the culture of the business. Then 3, set critical goals, the monthly or quarterly activities. Then define the strategies. Then the 5th action is tactics. Then the 6th, where a lot of people loop most is identifying the potential roadblocks that comes to it. Then the 7th, as you know, if you're able to identify the roadblocks, you look for the milestones to celebrate.
Look for the milestone to celebrate. This has been Daniel Owusu with us here in the studio discussing the all-important topic of repositioning your business for a profitable year. We continue with that discussion next week here on your radio again. This is how we bring the curtains down on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Masterclass on your Superstation. Up next is the news at 2. My name is Yaw Anim Branafo. See you same time next week.